Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 10th of April 2022, and I'm just going to keep this short today because I've got quite a long video recommendation for you to watch, which I'll be putting on my website, and I'll leave a link to it in the description box below for you. But what it is, a few months ago I recommended the first video in a series called Covidland, and this is a video series that's been produced by InfoWars, and you got Alex Jones who's narrating it, although there's a lot of other people involved in it as well. Now, it doesn't matter what you think of Alex Jones, whether you think he's great, whether you think he's rubbish or whatever. I think this Covidland series of videos, from what I've seen of them so far, are going to really be a very important historical documentary series, because it really aims to give a blow-by-blow account of the whole lurgy nonsense from start to finish. The first one was entitled Lockdown, and the second one, which I've only just come across, I was wondering when it was going to come out, but it actually ended up coming out in February, I believe, and I've only just come across it. So I've started watching it. It's about an hour and 20 minutes long, hour and a half long, something like that. And it's entitled Covidland, The Mask. And you can guess what it's going to be all about. And it's going to give a blow by blow of why they were introduced, what people think of them, both for and against, etc. And if you've been watching this channel for any length of time at all, you'll know my position on face coverings, face nappies. Not favourable. I absolutely detest the things, very much to the point where I'm almost pathologically sort of opposed to them now, to really a fanatical degree. There's just no way I would ever wear them. I sort of hardly wore them in the first place. When they became mandatory, I sometimes wore them during the summer of 2020 there. Sometimes I didn't. It depended on how brave I was feeling. But kind of towards the end of 2020, coming into 21, I just decided, no, I'm done with the things. And ever since then, I haven't worn them, even to the degree where at one point when I was on the way to one of the London shopping trips, still fairly early on, I think it was last May, I was literally the only person on the whole of the London Underground without one on. So, and I didn't care. I thought, no, I'm done with these things and I'm going to make a stand. And if you've ever wondered why, or if you're sitting there wondering why I'm so against the things, it's as one of the people being interviewed, the guy said, if I put one on, a little bit of me would die. And that is exactly how I feel about them. And if I put one on now, literally a little bit of me would die. That's how I feel. Because as the documentary will go on to sort of show you, well, you probably know this already, but face coverings, as far as I'm concerned, do very little, if anything, to stop you from getting any kind of lurgy. In fact, many people compare it to a mosquito and a chain link fence. They are ineffective, and the only thing they're effective at doing is making a population subservient and compliant. And I think it's a very visible sign of compliance, and I think it's just been used by the powers that shouldn't be to gauge how compliant people are, how obedient they are. Because if you can imagine it, old Johnson says, right, you know, everybody's got to wear face coverings as from tomorrow, sort of thing. And then all he's got to do is send out one of his lackeys to the nearest shopping centre to report back on levels of compliance. And then if the guy comes back and says, oh yeah, I went to the shopping centre, there was probably about 500 people in there, I only saw 3 without one on, Johnson would then go, great, you know, that's what I want to hear, you know, lockdown next month. And I honestly think, you know, that is how it's used, and it's a very visible sort of gauge of compliance. No wonder people call it the compliance muzzle, which I agree with wholeheartedly. And yeah, I absolutely detest the things, and if I put one on now, like that guy said, literally a little bit of myself, a little bit of my soul would die, and that is why I am so fanatically against them now. And yeah, no way would I ever wear one. Well, not as far as this is concerned. Obviously, if it's from an actual threat, you know, if I was sanding or handling asbestos in my job, not that I would, I'd leave it to the experts, but say I was doing something like that, of course, you know, I would put one on then. I'm not totally silly, but yeah, as far as this is concerned, no. Anyway, with that thought, I'll leave you to go and check out the second part of this documentary I've been talking about. So it's highly worthwhile watching. I'll put a link to it in the description box below, and you can also just go to my website, fairplaynow.net/must, M-U-S-T, short for must see videos, and it'll be the very top red button on that page when you get there to push, and then you'll sort of then be taken through to the video. And if you scroll down on that same page, about 12 of the big red buttons I've got for the videos, about 12 of those down, you'll see episode 1, sea, land. It's more than just the sea, but you know what I'm talking about. Sea, land 1, sort of entitled The Lockdown. So if you haven't seen any of them, it might be worthwhile watching that, and then The Mask. So I'll leave you to do that, and I'll be back tomorrow. Tim from Fair Play Now, thanks for watching.